Welcome to the Italian Football Podcast.
Next question comes from Kunal Soni, who says, whenever I see Spinazzola, he seems impressive and back to his old self. Do you think he could be a starting left back for Italy in a back four and Cambiasso on the right instead of Di Lorenzo? Conte certainly improved him. I'm so impressed by Spinazzola.
Spinazzola for Napoli in their win against Spezia was absolutely amazing. But I think that 2025 has been the renaissance year for Spinazzola. Obviously, we saw what happened to Spinazzola at Euro 2020 in the Belgium game, the quarterfinal, where he got that awful injury, which he never really recovered from, and we thought it was the end of his career and at the top level. And here he is in 2025. He's 32 now. And if you look at the second half of last season, he was really, really good for Napoli. Napoli wanted to sell him in January, going into January. Then he had a couple of good games in January, and they ended up keeping him. And this season, he's been the starting left back for Napoli, ahead of Oliveira, who's been dropped to the bench. And he's been outstanding. And he looks. I'm not going to say he's back to his best because he doesn't have those. He can't go on those long busting runs from deep going forward like he could, when he was in his late 20s. But yeah, he's been fantastic. And there's when it comes to kind of like dribbling, creating, going right, going left, that creativity and giving you that somebody that can create that overload and can eliminate their man. Spinazzola is still as good as anyone. And I said this myself. I think Italy should consider him. If Spinazzola is playing like this in March, when the World Cup playoffs come along, I would consider playing him as Italy's left back. Italy play a back four. Do I trust Spinazzola more in a back four than playing like this than I do Di Marco or even Cambiasso, who's a bit of a liability himself? I think I do right now on this form. Obviously, March is a long way away. We have to see how Spinazzola is playing there. But yes, I think I would. I'd definitely recall him, and I would consider starting him.
Yeah, it's. I agree. I'm of the opinion that the best when you go into a tournament, or when you pick a squad in qualifiers. In qualifiers and tournaments are different. In qualifiers, you need the best team that works in that system on that day. So you need players in form. It doesn't mean that you have to call them when you get to the final of the actual tournament, or the tournament itself. What qualifies for me is you bring in the players that are in best form and work in the system. And if Spinazzola is playing like this, he has to be called, and maybe not just called, start even, like literally, if he, like without a doubt. As for the squad in the tournament, that's different because you know who you're playing the first three games. You're looking for different options. It's a short tournament, so there are different parameters. You need players that work in a group. They're going to live together for 2-3 weeks. Hopefully for 5-6. You need players that can give you different options in different situations of games, and so on and so forth. But as far as qualifying football is concerned, rather, if he plays like this in March and you're playing a back four, you definitely not only have to call him, you have to start him.
There's been an argument that Italy national team has never been the same ever since he got that injury against Belgium. Because if you see Italy before the Spinazzola injury, even in those Euros, and then there was an Italy before and there's an Italy after. The Italy before was an Italy that had that extra weapon. They had that player coming from deep who could create the overloads and made them more unpredictable. And as soon as Spinazzola went, they lost that. And if you watch them in the Spain game and against the England game, they looked like a team, a bit like the Italy team that we saw in the qualifiers, who, yes, they were unlucky to qualify, but an Italy team that actually they didn't create anywhere near as much without Spinazzola on the pitch. Because when you've got someone that can just dribble past his man and beat his man, that creates the overloads and it creates chances. And Spinazzola, I just have to say, he's one of my favorite players of his generation. I love Spinazzola. I love watching him play.
Same.
For me, he just captures the essence of what I love about football and the kind of like the football that I grew up loving like in the 90s, or even going back to kind of what football was in the 80s. These kind of players that you just love to watch them play. They're unpredictable, they're unorthodox, and they can beat their man. They're skillful, they're dribblers. We just don't have those kind of players in football now. Everybody's robotic, everybody's really predictable. You know what they're going to do. He's not. He's an individual, and I just love watching him play, and it's fantastic for me. It's fantastic to see him back playing at this level again.
Same. I love him too, and I'm still pissed off with Marotta for not allowing that swap with Politano and Spinazzola because of his utility as well, because he could play on the right as well. So it is what it is. Nicola Lind.
He's even played as a left winger. Like last season, when Napoli had no one. They had no players. They had no depth. He even played as a left winger sometimes.
Yeah, he did. No, he was. I don't understand what he was doing, pulling the plug when Politano was already standing with a Roma scarf. I mean, it's just. Oh. Anyway,